Ready to level up your language skills? Welcome back to Real Talk English with Anna and Jake.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're talking about a massive shift in how we work. The traditional 9 to 5 job is changing, and we are entering the era of what many people call the company of one.
Yeah, and if you look around, you can really see it happening in real time. It feels like everyone has a side hustle now. I read a statistic recently that blew my mind. There are more than 41 million solopreneurs in the United States alone, contributing over $1 trillion to the economy.
That number is incredible. And what's important is that these are not just teenagers mowing lawns or doing small weekend gigs. These are serious professionals running real businesses, often from their laptops.
Exactly. You've got designers, programmers, marketers, online educators, consultants, writers, even people running full e-commerce brands by themselves.
And a huge reason for this shift was the pandemic. It changed how people think about work. Before that, many people believed a stable job at a big company meant security.
But the pandemic exposed something uncomfortable. A single paycheck is actually very fragile.
Right? If your employer disappears or downsizes, suddenly 100% of your income disappears at the same time.
So people started asking a different question. What if instead of relying on one income source, you had 3 or 4 smaller ones?
Exactly. And that idea is becoming the new form of job security, income diversification. Instead of one job paying $80,000 per year, you might have freelance design work, a YouTube channel, a small digital product, and affiliate income. Each source might be small, but together they form a much stronger financial foundation.
It's like investing. Nobody says you should put all your money in one stock. Yet for decades, people put their entire financial life into one employer.
That's such a good comparison. And now technology has made something possible that was almost impossible 20 years ago. A single person can operate like a company.
Let's define a couple of terms here, because people often mix them up. A freelancer typically trades time for money. For example, they might charge $50 per hour designing logos, $100 per hour consulting, or $200 per hour programming.
Exactly. Freelancing is great, but it has a limit. There are only so many hours in a day.
Right? If you stop working, the income stops.
But a solopreneur is different. A solopreneur builds systems. They might create digital products, automate marketing, use AI tools, and build an online audience. So the business can scale without adding employees.
For example, imagine someone who creates an online course. They record the videos once, but thousands of students can buy the course over time.
Exactly. That's the difference between trading time and building assets.
And we're seeing this everywhere now. One person can run a YouTube channel, a newsletter, a digital store, and a consulting business all at the same time.
And tools in 2026 make this even easier. AI helps with writing, video editing, marketing copy, and coding. So one person can now do the work that used to require a small team.
But here's the key thing people forget. Being a solopreneur doesn't mean working alone forever. It means starting lean and efficient.
Exactly. Many solopreneurs eventually outsource tasks like editing, bookkeeping, and customer support, but they still own and control the system.
And that's a big mindset shift. Instead of asking, who will hire me? You start asking, what value can I create? Now, if you're a company of one, you don't have a big corporate marketing department. You don't have TV ads, billboards, or Super Bowl commercials. So what do you have?
You have yourself, and that's where personal branding becomes critical.
Personal branding used to sound like something only celebrities cared about, but now it's basically professional survival.
I love a famous definition of a personal brand. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room.
That definition is both powerful and a little terrifying, because it means your reputation is always being formed even when you're not thinking about it.
Exactly. And in the internet era, that reputation is often visible online. If someone searches your name, what do they find? They might see LinkedIn posts, articles, a portfolio, a YouTube channel, or nothing at all.
In 2026, the internet is extremely crowded with content, and a lot of that content is now generated by AI.
Which means something interesting is happening. As AI content increases, authentic human voices become more valuable.
People want real experiences, real stories, and real opinions, not just perfectly polished corporate messages.
And this leads to another important idea, your unique value proposition or UVP.
This is basically the answer to a simple question. Why should someone listen to you instead of the thousands of other creators?
And the answer is often your combination of skills and experiences. Maybe you're a programmer who also understands finance, a designer who understands psychology, or a marketer who understands data science. Those intersections create unique perspectives.
Another strategy that's becoming popular is something called building in public.
I love this concept. Instead of only showing the finished product, you share the process. You talk about mistakes, experiments, failures, and lessons learned.
People love watching progress. It feels real.
And it also builds trust because audiences can see that you're actually doing the work, not just talking about it.
Some of the biggest creators today built their audiences simply by documenting their journey, not pretending to be experts from day one.
Exactly. They start with, here's what I'm learning today, instead of, here's why I'm the world's top expert.
But let's be honest, putting your thoughts on the internet can be terrifying.
Very terrifying.
And a lot of people experience something called imposter syndrome. That voice in your head saying, "Who do you think you are?" or "Why would anyone listen to you?"
This is especially common among non-native English speakers. Many people think their English needs to be perfect before they speak publicly.
But here's the truth. In the global economy, perfect grammar is not the goal. Clear communication is the goal.
Exactly. If you have deep expertise in something like finance, programming, design, or engineering, people care about your knowledge, not your accent.
In fact, sometimes accents and imperfections make someone more relatable.
And remember, the internet is global. There are millions of listeners who also speak English as a second language, and they often prefer creators who speak like them.
Another thing that helps overcome imposter syndrome is understanding that you don't need to be the top expert. You only need to be a few steps ahead of someone else.
That's such an important idea. A beginner might need help with something you learned 6 months ago.
Exactly. Teaching what you just learned is actually very powerful because you still remember what it felt like to be confused.
And here's another mindset shift. Consistency beats perfection.
Posting one small idea every day for 10 minutes is often more effective than writing one perfect article per month.
Because consistency builds an audience, trust, and momentum. Before we wrap up today's episode, let's review some of the key vocabulary we discussed. These terms are becoming increasingly important in the modern economy.
First term, solopreneur. A solopreneur is a business owner who runs an entire business alone. They may use automation, software tools, and artificial intelligence, but they do not rely on traditional employees.
Second term, side hustle. A side hustle is a small business or job you do in addition to your primary work. Examples include selling products online, freelance writing, tutoring, and content creation.
Third term, drop shipping. This is an e-commerce model where you sell products online, but a third party handles inventory and shipping. You focus entirely on marketing, branding, and customer acquisition.
Fourth term, imposter syndrome. This is the psychological feeling that you're not as competent as others believe you are. Many highly successful people experience this at some point.
And one final concept, personal brand. Your personal brand is the public perception of your expertise, personality, and reputation. It is shaped by your content, your work, and your online presence.
Now, here's your challenge for this week. Google your own name. Seriously. Open a browser and search your name.
Look at the results like a stranger would. Ask yourself, what story does this search result tell?
Does it show your skills, your interests, and your expertise, or does it show almost nothing?
Because in the modern economy, if you don't control your narrative, the internet will create one for you.
Take control of your story, build your reputation intentionally. Even small steps matter.
And remember, you don't need to build a huge company. Sometimes the most powerful business is simply a company of one.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode. Hitting the like button is the best way to let us know. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next episode, and we will see you in the next one.
And that's our show. We loved having you with us today on Real Talk English. Have a great week.